I think this is ultimately going to turn out to be more of a Volkswagen story than a Rivian story.
Rivian has had a soaring week on the stock market after a major investment announcement from Volkswagen. But is the surge here to stay, or is it just a knee-jerk reaction to the news? Let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone. Volkswagen has agreed to invest up to $5 billion in a new joint venture with Rivian. Thomas, Chris, what can you tell us about this new partnership? Does this investment legitimize Rivian as a player in the EV sector?
I would say that it doesn't exactly legitimize them. The deal isn't for Rivian cars. It's no change to Rivian's operation. And ultimately, what's happening is Rivian is helping VW with software. VW wants the software.
I don't know how Thomas would feel about my saying this, but I'm not sure if it legitimizes Rivian in the EV game as much as it maybe legitimizes Volkswagen.
Right, I would see that. That goes into my idea. Like Volkswagen wants the software so they can use that software for their own VW cars.
Right.
VW is investing in software for its EV, not so much investing in Rivian.
Yes.
So the cash makes sense on paper here, but just how fruitful do you think this partnership is going to be?
Well, it's $5 billion at face value, but only $1 billion up front, right? Yeah. And it doesn't really help Rivian so much. I mean, it gives them more capital. They've got a clear runway towards reaching profitability, but we're still years down the road before it makes profits. And will it need more money? Probably.
Yeah, one thing that would concern me if I were a Rivian investor in terms of a long-term investor is those follow-on investments that are coming are based on milestones that weren't necessarily clearly defined.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, well, Rivian, as long as Rivian meets those objectives, the cash will flow, but long-term investors don't really have a sense of what those objectives are that they have to hit.
Right. And the structure of the deal too, the first billion is in warrants. So it's dilute, it's going to dilute the value of the stock.
Right.
So speaking of what investors are feeling about this, I'm curious, does it make a difference that this money is coming from Volkswagen, or would investors feel any type of way if it was coming from a different car maker? I know that they had a partnership with Ford in the past. How is that different than what they're doing with Volkswagen?
I don't think it's really any different.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's helpful in the sense that they've had a partnership with Volkswagen. So the fact that Volkswagen's willing to invest more in Rivian is encouraging. It would be probably a little bit it'd probably be a little bit strange if it was coming from another EV company that they had been partnering with. So I guess in that sense it's good.
All right, so Rivian saved from the EV graveyard for now, but just how much of an impact has this partnership made on Rivian's stock price this past week? What have we been seeing in the news?
Well, the stock popped. I think it was like 60% on the news. That was absolutely a knee-jerk reaction. This stock is in a major downtrend. The pop already hit resistance. We're down some today. I think it's a sell the news event. Or buy the rumor, sell the news. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, this doesn't change my overall thoughts on the EV market. If I'm a trader, I'm probably looking to, definitely take some of these profits, and, it's a nice lifeline, but the overall EV market is still probably years away from being as mainstream as some people would like it to be.
Well, I want to dive into just how significant Rivian's surge is in a minute, but first, here's how investors can keep track of all of those surges and changes in real time for all of their investments. Want to keep your finger on the pulse of the market? Text the word YouTube to 68285, that's 68285, and get free breaking news alerts from MarketBeat for the stocks that matter most to you. Don't miss out on crucial updates, stay informed, and stay ahead. All right, guys, Rivian stock has seen a significant downward trend since the start of this year. Is this new Volkswagen investment kind of a bit of a surprise at all, given Rivian's recent valuation struggles?
I mean, yeah, I think it is, because people are wondering, why would Volkswagen sink money into this failing car company? Because they are struggling, they're burning cash. Whether or not they can reach profitability is highly questionable. It could be money down the drain, except for the deal is for the software. and Volkswagen wants the software. So if they've invested in the company and they own some stock, and whatever happens down the road, they've got a vested interest in the software, and that's what they're going to have no matter what happens.
I agree with where Thomas is going with this. I think this is ultimately going to turn out to be more of a Volkswagen story than a Rivian story.
Now back to the issues that Rivian's been dealing with and kind of that whole EV graveyard as a whole.
Mhm.
Are those issues just unique to Rivian, or are we kind of seeing that across the EV sector? Is there anything that Rivian can do differently to overcome that?
You know, I don't think the problems that are the broad problems in the EV sector are unique to Rivian at all. And I didn't want to make it seem earlier like I was burying Rivian. These are sector problems that they have. We've talked about this before on the channel. No matter how you feel about EVs, one way or the other, we just don't have the infrastructure yet in place to support the adoption of the vehicles at scale. And that's what these companies are coming up with. No matter how much money they have to produce cars at scale, there has to be a market to get them into the hands of consumers. And I just don't think that's there yet.
Right. And something else we talked about many times with all the different EV startups that we've talked about is that it's a cash intensive business.
Yes.
It's a lot of money. They burn a lot of capital. The cash burn is absolutely not unique to this company. Every single one that we cover has a cash issue. And I think it was just a week or two ago that Fisker declared bankruptcy. Okay. So that's one more EV manufacturer in the graveyard, and Rivian could follow suit.
Right.
Well, I'm really interested to see if you guys think that this Rivian surge can and will continue. But first, to see which other industries and stocks are struggling to keep up in the market, let's check out this premium report. Tired of guessing which stocks to ditch? MarketBeat's exclusive report, 20 Stocks to Sell Now, cuts through the noise. Uncover the truth behind Wall Street's ratings, as our list is curated from the stocks that top analysts consistently rate as hold or sell. Don't let your portfolio suffer. These 20 companies have been red flagged for a reason, so act now and safeguard your investments. This report is free, but only available for a limited time, so download today. So it's been a pretty good week for Rivian, but Chris, Thomas, what do you think about the long-term performance possibilities for this stock? I mean, looking ahead, okay, they're getting this $5 billion investment here, but what after that? I mean, if that doesn't work well for them, are they just done? Are there going to be other opportunities? What can we look forward to?
Well, I think the question of whether or not Rivian survives is still up in the air. It'll be years before their cash runs out. The question is if this cash injection will get them across the finish line. As far as the stock price, like I said, it is in a downtrend. They need to make money to get out of that downtrend, and that's not going to happen for years.
Right.
That's where I'm coming from.
My initial thoughts upon hearing this is that I think this does set Rivian up as far as being more of an attractive takeover target if and when, and I think it's more a question of when the consolidation in the EV industry happens. And I think that's going to happen. And I think that's really kind of where this sets Rivian up as.
Now, do you see investors, are they going to be jumping into this stock now with this kind of surge happening? Or do you think they're going to back out instead and maybe see how the partnership plays out over time?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there are a lot of investors in the stock. This is
Correct.
a trader stock. It's a meme stock. It's a short seller stock. Investors are looking for margins and cash flow and capital and profits.
All right, well, we are going to continue to follow it all right here on MarketBeat.com. Thanks for the discussion today, guys. For now, happy investing.